Today is June 30th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today is the day, guys. And I I feel really, let me just say, I'm not exactly a math major or anything like that, and I didn't realize the error until I looked at my list today. For some reason, I don't know why, I had it that we were finishing the Big Book tomorrow, and that is not correct. We're actually finishing it the last day of June, which is today. Maybe I thought there were 31 days in June. I don't know. But the bottom line is, we have some heavy reading today, but we are going to finish Chapter 11, A Vision for You, along with the core text of the Big Book today. And we're also going to finish the 12th tradition of the 12 and 12 by reading pages 186 and 187. And then we've got the daily reflections in 24 hours a day for June 30th. So this is it. This is the end of another round from the core text of the Big Book. We actually went through it. I believe this is twice now, and we'll probably finish it one more time by the end of the year, Lord willing, if we keep on going with this thing. And this is the first time we finished the 12 and 12. So thank you so much for those of you who've been here since day one. I don't know who you are. I don't really look at the numbers much, but I appreciate whoever's been here during this journey. It's been wonderful, and it has helped me tremendously. But yeah, we got some work to do, so I might as well just go ahead and hush and get right to it. Page 161. Now, this house will hardly accommodate its weekly visitors, for they number 60 or 80 as a rule. Alcoholics are being attracted from far and near. From surrounding towns, families drive long distances to be present. A community 30 miles away has 15 fellows of Alcoholics Anonymous. Being a large place, we think that someday its fellowship will number many hundreds. But life among Alcoholics Anonymous is more than attending gatherings and visiting hospitals, cleaning up old scrapes, helping to settle family differences, explaining the disinherited son to his irate parents, lending money and securing jobs for each other. When justified, these are everyday occurrences. No one is too discredited or has sunk too low to be welcomed cordially, if he means business. Social distinctions, petty rivalries, and jealousies, these are laughed out of countenance. Being wrecked in the same vessel, being restored and united under one God, with hearts and minds attuned to the welfare of others, the things which matter so much to some people no longer signify much to them. How could they? Under only slightly different conditions, the same thing is taking place in many eastern cities. In one of these, there's a well-known hospital for the treatment of alcoholic and drug addiction. 6 years ago, one of our number was patient there. Many of us have felt for the first time the presence and power of God within its walls. We are greatly indebted to the doctor in attendance there, for he, although it might prejudice his own work, has told us of his belief in ours. Every few days, this doctor suggests our approach to one of his patients. Understanding our work, he can do this with an eye to selecting those who are willing and able to recover on a spiritual basis. Many of us, former patients, go there to help. Then, in this eastern city, there are informal meetings such as we have described to you, where you may now see scores of members. There are the same fast friendships. There is the same helpfulness to one another as you might find among Western friends. There is a good bit of travel between East and West, and we foresee great increase in this helpful interchange. Someday, we hope that every alcoholic who journeys will find a fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous at his destination. To some extent, this is already true. Some of us are salesmen and go about. Little clusters of 2s and 3s and 5s of us have sprung up in other communities through contact with our 2 larger centers. Those of us who travel drop in as often as we can. This practice enables us to lend a hand, at the same time avoiding certain alluring distractions of the road, about which any traveling man can inform you. Thus we grow, and so can you, though you be but one man with this book in your hand. We believe and hope it contains all you'll need to begin. We know what you're thinking. You're saying to yourself, I'm jittery and alone. I couldn't do that. But you can. You forget that you have just now tapped a source of power much greater than yourself. To duplicate with such backing, what we have accomplished is only a matter of willingness, patience, and labor. We know of an AA member who was living in a large community. He lived there but a few weeks when he found that the place probably contained more alcoholics per square mile than any city in the country. This was only a few days ago at this writing, 1939. The authorities were much concerned. He got in touch with a prominent psychiatrist who had undertaken certain responsibilities for the mental health of the community. The doctor proved to be able and exceedingly anxious to adopt any workable method of handling the situation. So he inquired, what did our friend have on the ball? Our friend proceeded to tell him, and with such good effect that the doctor agreed to test among his patients and certain other alcoholics from a clinic which he attends. And with such good effect that the doctor agreed to test among his patients and certain other alcoholics from a clinic which he attends. Arrangements were also made with the chief psychiatrist of a large public hospital to select still others from the stream of misery which flows through that institution. So our fellow worker will soon have friends galore. Some of them may sink and perhaps never get up. But if our experience is a criterion, more than half of those approached will become fellows of Alcoholics Anonymous. When a few men in the city have found themselves and have discovered the joy of helping others to face life again, there will be no stopping until everyone in that town has had his opportunity to recover, if he can and will. Still, you may say, but I will not have the benefit of contact with you who write this book. We cannot be sure. God will determine that. So you must remember that your real reliance is always upon Him. He will show you how to create the fellowship you crave. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we only know a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who's still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Abandon yourselves to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find, and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then. Man, great stuff. All right, next up is tradition number 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all of our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. And today we are finishing off this tradition and finishing off the entire book. Page 186. But it became apparent that the word-of-mouth method was too limited. Our work, as such, needed to be publicized. The AA groups would have to reach quickly as many despairing alcoholics as they could. Consequently, many groups began to hold meetings to interested friends and to the public, so that the average citizen could see for himself just what AA was all about. The response to these meetings was warmly sympathetic. Soon groups began to receive requests for AA speakers to appear before civic organizations, church groups, and medical societies. Provided anonymity was maintained on these platforms, the reporters present were cautioned against the use of names or pictures. The result was fine. Then came our first few excursions into major publicity, which were breathtaking. Cleveland's Plain Dealer articles about us ran the town's membership from a few into hundreds overnight. The news stories of Mr. Rockefeller's dinner for Alcoholics Anonymous helped double our total membership in a year's time. Jack Alexander's famous Saturday Evening Post piece made AA a national institution. Such tributes as these brought opportunities for still more recognition. Other newspapers and magazines wanted AA stories. Film companies wanted to photograph us. Radio and finally television besieged us with requests for appearances. What should we do? As this tide offering top public approval swept in, we realized that it could do us incalculable good or great harm. Everything would depend upon how it was channeled. We simply couldn't afford to take the chance of letting self-appointed members present themselves as messiahs representing AA before the whole public. The promoter instinct in us might be our undoing. If even one publicly got drunk or was lured into using AA's name for his own purposes, the damage might be irreparable. At this altitude, press, radio, films, and television, anonymity, 100% anonymity, was the only possible answer. Here, principles would have to come before personalities, without exception. These experiences taught us that anonymity is real humility at work. It is an all-pervading spiritual quality which today keynotes AA life everywhere. Moved by the spirit of anonymity, we try to give up our natural desires for personal distinction as AA members, both among fellow alcoholics and before the general public. As we lay aside these very human aspirations, we believe that each of us takes part in the weaving of a protective mantle which covers our whole society and under which we may grow and work in unity. We are sure that humility, expressed by anonymity, is the greatest safeguard that Alcoholics Anonymous can ever have. And that concludes our reading in the 12 and 12. We have finished the 12 and 12 today, my friends. Feels pretty good. What a journey. Daily reflection for June 30th. Sacrifice equals unity equals survival. The unity, the effectiveness, and even the survival of AA will always depend upon our continued willingness to give up some of our personal ambitions and desires for the common safety and welfare. Just as sacrifice means survival for the individual alcoholic, so does sacrifice mean unity and survival for the group and for AA's entire fellowship. This is from As Bill Sees It, page 220. I have learned that I must sacrifice some of my personality traits for the good of AA, and, as a result, I have been rewarded with many gifts. False pride can be inflated through prestige, but by living Tradition 6, I received the gift of humility instead. Cooperation without affiliation is often deceiving. If I remain unrelated to outside interests, I am free to keep AA autonomous. Then the fellowship will be here, healthy and strong, for generations to come. And finally, we're on June 30th for 24 hours a day. AA Thought for the Day. Alcoholics are unable or unwilling during their addiction to alcohol to live in the present. The result is that they live in a constant state of remorse and fear because of their unholy past and its morbid attraction, or the uncertain future and its vague forebodings. So the only real hope for the alcoholic is to face the present. Now is the time. Now is ours. The past is beyond recall. The future is as uncertain as life itself. Only the now belongs to us. Am I living in the now? Meditation for the day. I must forget the past as much as possible. The past is over and gone forever. Nothing can be done about the past except to make what restitution that I can. I must not carry the burden of my past failures. I must go on in faith. The clouds will clear and the way will lighten. The path will become less stony with every forward step that I take. God has no reproach for anything that He has healed. I can be made whole and free, even though I have wrecked my life in the past. Remember the saying, neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not carry the burden of the past. I pray that I may cast it off and press on in faith. All right, some beautiful reading here. Real quick on this reading, I love the, now this is just Robology, but I think it's important, the saying, we do not shut the door on the past. I think it's important to remember how bad things were, but at the same time, not carry the shame that comes with it and learn from those mistakes. And I love the line right here. God has no reproach for anything that he has healed. I can be made whole and free even though I have wrecked my life in the past. Love that. God has no reproach for anything that he has healed. And finally, going back to the big book, we've done it, my friends. One day at a time, maybe a little bit of double time toward the end, but we did it. I love the last two paragraphs. The last paragraph on 164. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. This was written in the 1930s. They were still figuring things out, as you can see. There's a lot of footnotes in this chapter talking about the aspirations they have for AA to grow. They had no idea how much it would grow. And there were some growing pains that came with that growth. That's why the 12 Steps to 12 Traditions was written. But I love this line here. The answer will come if your own house is in order. But obviously you can't transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship is right, with him is right. And great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. And here's a beautiful kind of summary of the steps right here. Abandon yourself to God as you understand him. Admit your faults to him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. And I love this line. Give freely of what you find and join us unconditionally. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, so we're not alone. And you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny, not the road to happy destiny, the road of. I remember sharing one time in one of my fellowships the road of happy destiny, but I said the road to happy destiny. And then somebody very gently corrected me and said, no, it's not the road to, it's the road of happy destiny. And he explained how we can feel that peace and that serenity right here and right now. And that kind of ties into the reading from 24 Hours a Day, living in the present. So my friends, I've rattled on for 20 some minutes, but again, I want to say how grateful I am that you joined me in this journey, in this lifeboat of recovery, another circle around. Starting July 1st, tomorrow, we get right back to it. I believe we'll start with the doctor's opinion, and we'll just read the core text one more time, leading up to January. And then same thing with the 12-12, we get right back to step one. So guys, thank you so much for listening. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA or NA or Al-Anon or any other sect, denomination, politics, anything like that. I'm just a guy. I'm no guru or anything like that. I'm just reading these books because they mean a lot to me. But if we are given a brand new set of 24 hours, my friends, I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow. May God bless you and keep you until then.